Hi guys, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be very specific with product selection criteria, the products that I look out for, what I look out for in a given product to make it a winner. And I know that it's a winner or potentially a winner so that I test it and it's worth the test, because I see a lot of people testing products and I tested myself products in the past that don't work. Like, even if you could make them work, they won't give you enough profit margins, enough scalability, or enough whatever in order for you to make real money with it, because it doesn't really matter if you make sales but you don't make any profit at the end of the day, right? We are all here for the profit part. And so when you're selecting a product or a niche or a group of products, you really want to make sure that you are thinking about all the variables beforehand so that you can actually test it properly, give it all your effort and make it worth your time. Even if the product fails or the brand, the group of product fails, at least you know that you've selected the product well and you have a list of criteria to go through in order to make sure that you're not wasting your time around, right? So if you don't know who I am, I'm Diogo, and in the past 1.5 years, I've made over $1.8 million with my 2 e-com brands. As you can see here, the numbers don't lie. So I really like to show you the numbers so that you know what I'm talking about and you know where I come from. And so I can only speak to people that are trying to achieve what I achieved, because this is my point of view. This is what I look for, and this is how it works for me. So the 4 really great products that I look out for, the criteria for the products is really TAM and demand. So I will look for the TAM and demand of the products. I want it to be at least semi-impulsive price range, enough profit margin, and high perceived value. These are really the core 4 things that I look for in the market, so that I make sure I can hit a really huge scalability with it and not waste time over. So if we look at the TAM and demand in itself more deeply, we know that these are 2 different things here. It's not one, it's a little bit different. So I'll break down exactly the difference here with you, right? So first you have the TAM. The TAM, I've spoken about this in the previous video, but the TAM is like very important because it tells you the overall market that you're getting into, okay? This is like the overall market that you're getting. It's the total amount of people that are interested in your products, right? So it's more about the problem you're solving and the niche you're getting into, because it's really important to know which niche are you going to get into, because you really want to solve problems that a lot of people have pain, right? This is on the low to mid ticket products. It's where my experience lies. So if you're selling high ticket products, it's a little bit different, but you want to get into a market where you know that you will sell, right? And so the questions that you want to question yourself is this niche relevant enough in your customers' lives? Okay, is this important for your customer? So they could be unaware of your product. This is important. So they could be unaware of your product, but at least they are aware of the problem that they have and the problem that they have in their lives. And so there's a really interesting pyramid here that addresses this concept in a very obvious and clear way. And so if you have this pyramid with that, like people that are unaware of the problem, they are problem aware, and they have like solution aware, which basically becomes the combined brands that sell the product that you're after, right? Then you have product aware and you have most aware, and these people, like they are like ready to buy, right? This is like ready to buy people. And so in this funnel, you have a lot of different people here, right? In like percentage wise of the whole market. And so you want to make like this triangle as big as possible, right? With the total amount of people, like the TAM is like the total amount of people that are in this triangle. You want to make it as big as possible. If you're selling, for example, like products for dogs, well, you know that a lot of people have dogs, so you have a given triangle. But for example, if you're selling a product that solves back problems, well, the triangle is going to be way bigger, right? Because a lot more people have back problems than dogs, right? So this is a bigger triangle. So you want to get ideally into the back problems. Now it comes all the other questions, right? Are you able to differentiate yourself? Are you able to make a products to these people that there's not a lot of competition, etc., etc. So, but ideally, like in a concept way, in a theoretical way, you want to do this. You want to get into the market that it's bigger, right? And so the bigger the triangle, the better. This is the key thing here, right? Yeah. So then if we get into the demand side of things, like the demand is all about the percentage of people that are up in the pyramid, right? So the questions that you're going to ask yourself here is, are they craving for a solution out there for their problems? So are they craving a solution that will solve their problems, and by extension they will buy your product, right? So they are in a position yourself as the most appropriate brand and the product for them. Exactly. So, and this, if we look at the triangle again, and this pyramid, this is like percentage of people. Like, for example, maybe you have like 50% of people here, right? So you have 50% of people here, maybe like you have another 30 here, and then like you have 10 here, and then like 5 here and 5 again, whatever. So you want to make, you want these people to jump into here, to jump into here, and so on and so forth. And so imagine that this part here, people that are most aware, is like 50% instead of 5. This would be such a great market to enter, right? Because imagine that if this was the case, you just come to the market, you position like, this is my brand, like, hey guys, this is me, I have the products that you're looking after, and so buy from me. And at least 50% of people in this market are looking for a brand to buy, so they are like ready to buy, right? So this is what you want to look for, because if you can find a market where you just position yourself into the market, supply the product yourself, and people are going to rush into your website and going to buy from you, then you want to be that person. So this is why, like, if you have more people in this part of the pyramid, is better. So this is all about putting people like up in the pyramid, right? So this is like the percentage on the top, the better, right? And so this brings us to another criteria point, which is, you want to ask yourself, does it require a lot of investment, time or money from the person that is looking to buy your product? So imagine that it takes so much time for this person here to go into here. Is this a niche that you want to get into, or this is a niche that you want to avoid? And so this question really goes into this next thing, which is at least semi-impulsive price range. Okay, and so why do I look at this thing here as the really big criteria point? Because I'm in the low to mid ticket price range products, okay? And so I don't want to spend a lot of time educating people, and a lot of time and money, because when you're pushing people towards these parts of the pyramid, you are essentially spending money on marketing, because you're running ads to them, showing your product, showing what the product does, the features, the benefits. All of these things cost you money or time, because you can have organic accounts with creators. They are creating content and nurturing these leads through content, and so until they are ready to buy. And so you're going to spend like a lot of dollars and a lot of time educating these people, coming from all the way here to here, right? And so what is this translating into marketing terms? We usually refer this to tough, mouth, and buff, right? And so you have the cold audience and you want to make them a hot audience. So are you going to spend a lot of time in this process? If so, and a lot of money, you want to avoid this market unless you are a very big player and want to step into a long-term game, have a really defined marketing strategy, you have experience. But if you're inexperienced, it's going to be really difficult for you to get that cash flow going if you have that type of products. And I can give you examples of these type of problems, right? Because this is like health products, or new, if you have like health products, like new discoveries in the market, new things like new supplements, like it's going to be really difficult for you to sell. Why? Because these products require a lot of education. I've made this mistake myself in the past, trying to sell like a new thing, but it was on a health space, and it was like new supplements, and it's hard for you to get into the market if you don't establish previously a presence online, and or you're selling just a very well-known supplement or well-known medicine, like to solve a given product that people are already aware, like they are already like in this kind of pyramid level, right? And so this really you want to look for is, unless you have huge LTV through multiple purchases like subscriptions, will determine the success of your marketing. So this is why it's very important to have a semi-impulsive price point, right? So semi-impulsive. Realistically, you want to make it so that you have, for example, like this brand here, where you have this is by Pet Lab Co, right? Brand, very well-known brand. Look, you have like Toffish marketing piece of content. So this is, for example, look, you have top itch and allergy chews for dogs ranked worst to best. Okay, this targets a given audience that is looking for something to solve their dog's itchy and allergies, right? And they are already problem aware. These people are problem aware, but they are not solution aware. So this brand is giving them tips and ranking and advertorials to really educate these people and make them aware of the best products for them to buy. On the other hand, you have like this BOF, with this bottom of the funnel creative, which is just pushing people to buy, right? They are not educating anyone. They are not showing their product in any given any shape or form. They are just presenting their product and saying, look guys, I have the solution for you. Look guys, I have the solution for you. You just have to buy from me. It's at 50% off. Take now. And if people buy from this, like, it cannot be someone that hasn't seen this brand before, right? Because why would you buy from someone that you haven't seen before, right? You have to see something before, which is at the top of the funnel. You have to read this article, for example, or see another video of them before you can actually become product aware and brand aware and know that this is a product that you want to buy, and you buy, right? And so my point is, you want to make this bridge from here to here, like this bridge, as fast as possible, right? Because you don't want to spend a lot of time and money educating these people to get them to buy. Otherwise, it's gonna be very, very hard for you to recoup that money unless you have a huge LTV. The LTV is long. It stands for the lifetime value of the customer, and so this just means, like, imagine that you're selling this supplement here by Pet Lab Co, but you are able to make your customers purchase from you 3 times on average. Okay, on average. If this is the case, if you're able to convince them to buy 3 times on average your supplements, imagine that you sell like for $30, right? If you sell this for $30, but you're able to convince them to buy 3 times, actually every customer is worth you $90. So this is your real selling price. So you have to consider this price here and not another price. And so you are able to spend more. This makes it like spend more money on ads. And so you allow yourself to be a little bit, have like, with this, because you increased, you buy more time and money, right? For education, for nurturing, really, like it's nurture, right? Nurturing. So you have like a little bit of a longer bridge. You can build like a longer bridge, and that's fine. And this will also like really increase your brand value, right? This is a playbook to really have $1 million brand and be a sustainable brand for a long term. Okay, so let's look at the very important third criteria, which is enough profit margins. Okay, and I see a lot of people doing mistakes here. I've done this myself, a very huge mistake, because if you don't get this right, it's very hard for you to make money out of this. You want to get into the game to make profit and make sure your profit is there. That's the goal, right? Then you focus on, okay, increasing the quality of the product, increasing the customer experience, increasing all of these other things. But if you're not making cash flow, positive cash flow every month, it's going to be very, very hard for you to keep going with the business. And if it's very hard, then at some point it's not going to be worth to continue scaling the business. It's just going to give you headaches. So there's really 3 things that you want to look at. Profit is your fuel, CPMs are increasing, and the floor, and how to check before starting advertising your products. So let's look at this first. I used to sell, this is a mistake that I made, guys. I used to sell 19 to 29 products in the past. I could never make them work due to low margins. You think that your business, and you have a vision for the business, you want to make that vision, you want to play the chess so that you achieve sustainable profits, okay? You can actually live and create cash flow, positive, okay? This is important, guys. Just play the chess, the long-term chess game. Think through all of the plays that you want to make with the business. If it works out, imagine that if the advertising works out, what is going to happen to my brand? and you want to play that out, see what's the outcome. And once you have that vision, the vision of the profit, then you should go ahead. But the problem is when you're selling like $19 to $29, you're gonna have like such a low margin that it's gonna be very hard for you to sell at that price point unless you have like high returning customers and average LTV, which was the thing that we talked about before. Like if you were able to sell 3 times a $30 product, which is the case on the supplements, you make $90. Then it's fine if you spend like, if you sell at this price point, if you sell like for $29 per purchase, because you're going to be able to turn this 29 into 90 over time. Okay, so realistically you're not selling for 29, you're selling for 20. So if you have this play, if you play the chess, like play the chess, right? If you play the chess and this is the outcome, then you're fine. But if the outcome is only the $29, then it's no good. Why? Because I'm going to tell you exactly why. So CPMs and floor. CPMs is cost per 1,000 views on Meta. And over time, after testing a lot of different products, I realized there was kind of a floor at the CPA level, which is on Meta, which means that you cannot sell on Meta products that are like worth $5, and you cannot spend $1 to get a sale. It doesn't work that way because there's kind of a floor. There's like a minimum you have to spend with Meta in order to see a sale, and this minimum I think it's around $15 right now, maybe like $10 to $15. But you cannot sell a product for and expect a CPA less than this. This is just like 15 plus, right? And so you have to consider all costs before selling a product or a set of products to make it profitable fast. Okay, so consider this floor, which is very, very important when doing your thing. Okay, and so let's look at this, how this works and how you can check before starting your advertising. And so you want to take the product costs and you want to consider the floor and then assume the CPA, which is relatively the same as the cost of the product, accounting with the floor, okay? And then you aim for a 25% profit margin. Why 25? Because ideally you want to get to 30%, but this can be done through AOV techniques like AOV increasing techniques, and you can do this is fine, but start like with 25, aim for 25, then you can probably push to 30 over time, which is ideally like the standard for profits margin. Of course, you want to adapt this to your brand. It's different if you are able to make 50%, then do 50%. I'm just telling the playbook with paid ads, how much you should aim at in terms of profit. It's what I did myself. So if you find a different strategy, you can like adjust to your niche. Of course, it's different. And so let's look at a clear example so you can have a look at how it works. Imagine that your product costs $10 to source and ship. So this is including shipping and product, okay? And the CPI is $15 because think like you cannot sell for less than $15. And if I told you that the CPI would be around $10, but then you have to consider the floor, realistically it's going to be like more close to $10, $15 to 10 than 10. But then like you use the 25% net margin rule, and like you get this value, right? This is how you get this value. You just do like 10 plus 15, and then you do divide it by 0.75, and you get 34. And the $34, it's going to be your minimum selling price. You cannot sell for less than $34 if you want to make money with this. And ideally, you would charge like shipping on top, right? So it would be like $34, the price of the product, and then you would like add shipping to it to make it even more profitable. But this is also already jumping into the AOV technique to increase. But you could do like $29 plus $5 shipping as well, right? There are a lot of different ways that you can think about the offer, but you have to think that you cannot sell below 34 for this product that will cost you 10 to source. If you can't sell for more than 34, at least 34, don't even bother trying to sell, okay? And so what if you have a subscription model? That's what we talked about before, guys. I consider that this $34 is the total customer value, right? It's the amount you can spend on ads to acquire a customer. If this customer is spending $90 with you over time, then you allowed yourself to spend more dollars on ads. it's fine, right? But this is like the total. I'm talking about total customer value. This is the LTV, okay? And so if you how can you actually jump on a product then that you can guarantee that you will make this profit margin? You choose a product, ideally a set of products that have a high perceived value, where people think that the product is worth a lot, and you can market it that way, right? You can market the product in a way that people feel, okay, this is solving me a problem that I value a lot. For example, everything that has to do with pain, physical pain or something like that, people usually associate a very high value because of the health thing. People value a lot their health, right? And so if they value a lot their health, they will probably spend money with you. Also, like there's like a basic 3 spaces where people spend a lot of money in wealth, health, and relationships, right? So if you are able to get into one of these 3 spaces, it will probably be of high value to your potential customer. And so why does this matter so much? This matters because of price sensitivity. Price sensitivity is very important when you're doing e-commerce and when you're actually trying to grow your profit margin, because you want to make your product so high perceived value that you can increase the price of the AOV over time and still not see a drop in CVR, right? Because imagine that you start, and I did this myself, guys. Look at my example. Like I have one of my stores that I started with $60 here, and I was able to push through $120 over time. Okay, I doubled. Think about this, guys. I doubled 2x my ARR value with introducing other products, changing a little bit the offers, combining products to make it more valuable. And so that customers would jump in on my offers because they saw, oh, this is such a high value that I'm willing to spend more money with this brand because they will give me more value in return. And so, I didn't drop any of my conversion. I didn't have like the graph for the conversion rate in itself, but this is like the checkout conversion rate, which is basically mimics the other one. But essentially, like, it was stable, just a little bit of drop here in 2024, because I was testing a little bit of the offers to make it more, a little bit of the different offers during like Q3 before jumping into Q4. And so I was testing, and so that's why the drop occurred. But as you can see, I maintained the CVR. The CVR was pretty much the same, and I doubled my AOV, which is huge. If you're able to do this, guys, this is through high perceived value products. Like, these 3 is a good example, but you can think of more. And it also depends on your offer, the type of products you sell. Also, a big thing that you can do here, guys, is increase like the product material, or make like healthy conscious, environment conscious, like healthy conscious statements, right? So think about the ways that you can add value to your customers and ultimately drive more sales through your business and increase the AOV. So guys, really, I hope this was really, really helpful to you when choosing like the product selection criteria that I use for my products that was able to generate me these kind of results. So you can do the same for you. Subscribe and shoot me a question if you have any. I can answer you, no problem. And I'll see you on the next video, which will be about the product shooting and marketing campaigns.